I'm Yanis, and on Radio Gregson from the Gregson Centre Volunteers, you can expect to hear a mix of new writing, storytelling, drama, interviews, expert talks, comedy, music, and more. Plus, we'll keep you in the loop with what's happening each month at the Gregson, our beloved community space. In this episode, I had a great chat with Jack and Faye, two well-known figures at the Gregson. They make sure there's always good music on and the party don't stop. So, stick around if you want to learn all about what it's like to be promoters. After that, we'll hear Bridget's very personal poem, Ode to Lancaster. And last but not least, we have our regular feature, What's Happening at the Gregson over the next month. So, make yourself a cuppa, get comfy, and let's dive in. This is Radio Gregson. Welcome everyone.
Hi. Hello.
I'm your host Yanis Marchand, and in today's episode I'll have the pleasure to interview Jack and Faye. How are you doing, guys?
Doing well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, alright.
Fantastic. So just to kind of kick off the podcast, could you introduce yourself and mention what brought you to Lancaster and the Gregson then?
I'm Baccy J.
And I'm Folio.
We are Baccy J
and Folio
Productions.
You've got that ready, didn't you?
Yes, we've done this many a time.
Prepared for that.
We run a grassroots promotion in Lancaster, essentially, that started out as a mentorship at the Gregson, is the long and short of it. I saw an application. I saw like a job advert for a mentorship. I applied for it and I got it, thanks with Charles' help, and it started off okay. Faye joined, started helping me out. We've been friends forever. I've known Faye for 16 years, brother. 16 years now, Jesus. 2014? No,
that's not 16. That's bad.
11 years. I've known Faye for 11 years. So Faye started helping me out at this Gregson mentorship, and then it just really took off, basically. Like, our first one together was the LGBT history.
Yes.
The History Month celebration with the Grievous Angels, Viola Faye, and Vaz.
And Ash Cornby?
Ash Cornby was there, yeah, it was great.
Could you say a few words about yourself, Faye?
So, been doing music for a long time. I went off to uni and did sound teching for a bit in Guildford. Did a bit of work down there and then came back and didn't touch it for a bit. And then when Jack kind of started doing this stuff, I just joined in with him.
I want to say, though we're doing the mentorship, we started this promotion. Faye used to be my boss. We used to work. We've had lots of jobs together. It's like a dangerous duo. We used to work. We used to work on COVID front lines at the hospital as security guards. Faye was my manager there. After that, we were like chefs in refugee hotels, where Faye was also my manager. It's like half of my employment has been Faye recommending me jobs.
I've got you many jobs, to be fair.
I know, and here we are. We're thinking when music crashes and burns, we're going to be fishermen. Is our next project. So when we stop doing music promotion.
Well, lots of great plans then. Starting back from the Gregson time when you were a young promoter.
This was about a year and 6 months ago. Banks Line Memorial Trust had some funding, which you can still apply for, by the way, if you think you've got a project that can help this arts economy and community. They gave a grant to the Gregson, and that was a position I applied for. And essentially it was to program 6 gigs, and got given a budget. I've never had a budget before. 6 gigs, just to try and turn a profit. It's okay if not, but not only did it turn a profit, but I think it brought in a bunch of a bit of a young crowd into the Gregson, which is really cool because it's just such a great space. I mean, off the back of that, of course, we started operating elsewhere. We started first, there's different kinds of deals. You can do a bar split. It should be worth mentioning that there's several venues in Lancaster doing great work. You've got with John O'Gaunt. They've been, honestly, you can walk in there on a Wednesday or a Thursday. I don't know how they do it, to be honest. It's a mystery to me. They just get good, amazing stuff on, and it's almost entirely free. So you can do a bar splits like that. That's the next thing we did. We approached the Tap House.
Tap House.
You can get free room hire at the Park Hotel on Bowram Greaves.
Yeah,
If you've got an event you want to put on, as long as you think you can bring some footfall in, you can just hire that out. It's crazy. Then the other deal type, of course, is the ticket split. Is what we're trying to engineer, kind of. So essentially, there's bands are amazing. We'd be nothing without bands. Everyone loves live music, but we're people who try and figure out how to market and matchmake bands on one bill, on one event, one evening, and we sell tickets, and then we keep a portion, and we give it back to the band, essentially.
Smashing. That's what you're doing now.
That's
right?
what we do.
Yeah.
That is music promotion.
But back in the day where you were only promoting, I don't know, local events, gigs at the Gregson. That was just the Gregson.
It's just the Gregson, yeah. But it's the same concept. It's just we started doing it down the road. We've got some contacts at the council. So we've just go on, Faye. Tell us about Loon Day Fest. That was fantastic.
So we've literally just done our first festival at the town hall with conjunction with music with the mayor to raise money for Citizens Advice Bureau, and it was a hit. We were very nervous about it, but we made money. We've covered our costs. We made some money for Citizens Advice, and it was a really good day. It was 12 hours of just music after music after music, band after band, solos after solos, and it was just an absolutely amazing day. And it was just great to see like different people from different music backgrounds and different backgrounds come together.
It's very nice to see like our friends and show up. As a byproduct of doing this, we've got like our audience, because it's such a small town. Our audience is just people we know.
Yeah,
it's like it's people.
I was going to ask, do you know them? Like
so like
most of their names,
like most of the bands that we had on, we knew personally. Like a lot of our friends came, like people we knew. There was also people who we didn't know, but also like the amount of people who came out to support us as volunteers for the event, stewards for the event as well. Like we had so many people who were quite happy to come and stay like the whole day as well.
Long day, man.
Like it's a long day. Like we were there from like 9 a.m. till like just after midnight. And then we had, a handful of people who stuck about.
It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, and like...
So thank you to everyone who helped out with Loon Day Festival. Hopefully we're going to do it again next year.
Yeah, Loon Day 2026. Fingers crossed.
Saying that, we can congratulate ourselves, but like I say, we're nothing without the bands we work with. I think, like...
Is that a choice to promote people you know? Is that something that you'd like to keep in the future? Or, say someone comes to you and want to be promoted.
This is where it gets ugly. So in an ideal world, we've got a gig series called Call in Sick, which is where we figure out a bar split with a pub. If we've got any new bands we've never worked with before, we try and stick them on there so we can at least give them a chance and try them out. But it's getting tighter and tighter. We're having to think about, we do all of this for free, and we're starting to think about how is this going to be sustainable, because we need to start making money off this as well, otherwise we're going to break. But we want to give everyone a chance. We want to give, I think if someone's got potential, we know how to nurture that.
How do you assess potential?
Yeah.
Do we like the music? Does it sound good? Are they professional?
At its course, even if there's a lack of professionalism, I think if there's creativity and energy happening, I think if you can guide someone, give someone advice, then that's something worth investing time into. Because I want to point out, we could have been like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, we were a pair of whippersnappers, right? And we had support from everybody. Gregson, for one, we had support from the More Music, which is like a music charity, which is where we first met, right? As you always want to...
When was that, by the way?
This was 2014. This is
2014,
a music charity in Morecambe, okay? It doesn't put, meritocracy or technicality above all else. It's a music education charity, but it's not trying to teach music. It's trying to teach confidence, and it's trying to teach kindness, using music as a vehicle for that. And that kind of ethos is the fact that people helped us develop when we were just a waste of space, that we've been able to get to this position. So it's paramount that when people are approaching us saying, hi, we'd like to, that we give them a shot. And if there's something worthwhile there, you know, we want to polish it and help it. Like I said, these are bands who are developing. You know, a lot of our success is attributed to people who have already made it. Who are, we want to. It's a two-way street. Is the music industry and learning. Learning's also a two-way street, I think.
Yeah, because you want to help your friends and you want to help people around your local area, but at the same time, you need to bring new talent into the area. So, like, we've worked with recently. We had Cloth
are touring with Mogwai, so we had that's 2 degrees of separation from like one of my favourite bands in the world, you know. So that's the one thing about the music industry. You find out once you stick your head in the door, it's a very small crowd. Everyone seems to know everyone. Yeah. You're like, yeah. So when we try and get someone big and great on, they're actually teaching us stuff.
So can we briefly go back to who do you promote? You said you promoted mostly people you knew in the first place. I guess that comes from your background, studying music.
That comes from it being an incredibly small town and from us being around a long time. But yeah, and it's also, so we came from the fact that we had help from More Music, which is a music charity in Morecambe, and it's also where we knew a lot of people we work with. And we chatted about how these places helped us learn, and how though we can help bands learn, we're in a position to help young developing bands now. Also, when we work with someone externally who's from a larger scene like Manchester, Liverpool, or just straight up touring around the country, when we work with big bands, they teach us stuff because we make mistakes, you know. I've like
so do you get them, where do you get them to play?
It's
you just book them, so
we offer them a deal and they come to Gregson.
Yeah.
They come to the Gregson.
Yeah, so we've only all the big bands we've brought them to the Gregson.
It's like our home turf, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is our home, this is where we're comfortable. Actually, no, that's a lie. We have done one at the Herbarium. We had a girl, Alexia Arena, who came from America, from New York. We put her on at the Herbarium. It's a vegan coffee shop. Really good place, really lovely.
It was a small space, but it was a chilled out space for live.
But yeah, so we put her on there. But yeah, primarily, like, most of our gigs are at the Gregson.
That's because, well, you know, it's where we got our start. You know, we love you guys.
Yeah, it's our home. This is our second home.
And it's also, you know, we're involved when we hang around the Gregson doing gigs and doing tech. We've actually gotten involved in a fair few projects. We did most recently. Catherine's in the corner smiling for anyone listening. We did the wonderful lesbian Marxist dystopian pantomime, which was a total hit. And like we've never done any theatre before.
No,
we've done some drag shows, but we did, you know, by doing theatre we learned a lot. And in fact, it's kind of why we like the Gregson. It's a lot of people's firsts. It's a lot of starts. And they will champion and support you if you've got a project that you want to pioneer.
Do they come to you, or is it you who contact them and offer to play at the Gregson?
We contact people. We contact bands and say hi. We come.
Well, it's a mixture actually. So so we will contact bands, but like, do you want to play at this event? Do you want to come to the Gregson? Maybe give them a date and an idea. But also, you get bands who contact you, whether it's local bands or whether it's bands from outside Lancaster who maybe on the book of the email list of the booking agents, or you've emailed them before now for something, they've emailed you back, be like, oh yeah, we're finally on tour.
A lot of these are chances. I met some dude in an airport and we've booked him to play in August, you know. He was just carrying a guitar in security and I stopped to ask for his details. But I mean, there's a lot of chance encounters happen here. Like, well, it's like we got involved in Queer Boots. That's just because we were going to these events and we're having a good time and we just happened to be on hand to help.
Yeah, where was that, for example?
Queer downstairs. Queer Boots.
Queer Boots. It happens downstairs. But like, say like Queer by Gum, like we just somehow fell into the laps of Queer by Gum, and we've got an amazing relationship with them now. Big up
Vaz and Jack and Vi and everyone.
Gwen, Kate, like everybody at Queer by Gum, like we love you all. But yeah, so like the Gregsons, it's a huge community of people, and it brings people together. And with that, we've managed to make great relationships, business wise, but also like friendship wise, with so many different people. Same with like Burlesque and Cabaret Society. You know, it's just amazing, like the community that that there is here.
It's it's for, not only does it support you in starting your projects, but it's a fact that it's a safe space. I'm thinking of all the, I don't like to knock them, but I'm thinking of all the alternatives. Like if I could get students to come in here and not spend their money at like a Green King or a Stonegate pub, you know, like support a local venue. You can achieve so much by booking out that hall. It's literally where dreams come true.
Coming to that, I know that this is something you were trying to do as a young promoter.
Still not. Everyone's trying to do it, man.
Yeah.
My dad tried to do it when he was at Lancaster Uni as a lecturer, man. No, like it's a golden ticket. If you can get students to engage in what you're doing, you might.
No,
be okay.
Not only students, but trying to make the gigs as accessible as possible to as many people as possible, for it to be as inclusive as possible. Is that something you're still trying to do now and incorporate to your kind of line of work?
It's the idea of a safe space. It's a safe space you can go out without worry and have fun. Also, and be yourself, you know, without being attacked or persecuted.
Yeah, because it's a huge thing for us. For us, it's about, you know, creating a safe place, bringing community together, bringing people from all different walks of life together, and just, you know, having a space for people who, you know, who are queer or maybe have like some sort of additional needs or anything like that. Somewhere where they can come that is accessible to them and they can come and have a good time. Like it's, you know, we're all about loving it, Jack. We're all about loving bringing people together.
And apart from the place itself, the Gregson, as you described, is a safe place. Apart from that, is there anything you do actively? Is there anything you put in place to guarantee that it's going to be accessible, that people are going to be feeling good coming to the gigs, feeling safe? Or do you mainly rely on the Gregson being anyway, well, driving a community that's pretty much open-minded and friendly?
It's kind of a mentality thing. If you can try and second guess everyone's needs, but there's always conflicting. If you've ever heard of Disco Neurotico, for example, they try and make accessible discos. So to one person might thrive in a quiet space. Someone else might need a strobe to feel, to feel something, to get that elation. When I say it's about attitude from every step, you've got to be flexible and willing to accommodate someone's needs. And you don't. And also, when in terms of safety, it's a lot to do with trust, but also knowing when to put your foot down. Like we've got 9 years of security guard experience between us. You know, we spent time trying to keep people safe from themselves, from others, and sometimes. And I've also spent times being roughed up and kicked out of clubs by security guards.
Yeah.
It's knowing when to intervene. And it comes down to respect, really. It's like respect and care.
But that's you and the people. But can you think of concrete examples of how you
used so if someone's got a photosensitivity to LEDs, for example, we've lit this whole place with filament light bulbs. But we have a box filled with filament light bulbs just for this one customer. Who we know and love, who sometimes plays and performs. That's what I mean. It's a willingness to go to any lengths to make sure that people can come. But
we're also just making sure like all our events are like wheelchair accessible as well, and having chill out spaces. So we don't have them at every gig, but we have like a little like chill out space. We'll put like a Nintendo Wii or like a Switch.
A chill out space is for a neurodivergent. It's for us a neurodivergent participant who wants to come to gigs, but also needs needs something to do, or so a space they can get away.
Yeah,
from
disassociate a little bit.
If it's all too much for too long.
So do you provide that?
Yes. So
as often as we can.
As often as we can. We can't always do it, but like we've brought like the N64 down, and just. So like we've also put boards down for people to come and draw on.
So it's a place without too much sensory information, a sort of mood room almost, like a chill room. And if you can put something in there, like some kind of entertainment in there, that's what it's worthwhile someone's time, so people don't feel like a plank when they're missing out on the gig, essentially.
Good stuff. going to the students thing then, as you were saying, you're trying to like attract more students to the Gregson. What have you done so far for that, and how do you plan on implementing more?
Students are really hard to get down.
I'm not sure why. We think it's because they've got at the university. There's everything you need up there. You know, it's got its own bars and clubs and stuff. It's got its own food. It could be a price thing. It could be simply that to support this kind of stuff, it costs a little bit more than it could do to go to like Wetherspoons.
But it also could just be a case of the Gregsons just a little bit off the radar. So like, a lot of students, they want to go out clubbing, they want to go to Vibe or Sugar House or something like that.
Maybe we're being conceited thinking that this is the best thing ever, you know, just because we love art and music, you know, doesn't mean
yeah, like,
you know, people might be into different things. I don't know.
I mean, there is a small community of students who we have met who have come to our gigs who do enjoy, you know, live music.
You can put student bands on. They always bring their crowd.
That
a lot of the time, this student band crowd, they leave once. They come for their mates and then they bounce. It's just like, it's step one. We got them in the building already, you know. Yeah.
So there's different. Yeah, we're still working on it. We're still working on trying to get students in, but we really want to bring students into the Gregson and bring a whole new scene. Like we feel like we've managed to bring a younger crowd in, and so the next step for us is building this relationship with students in that sense. Like, we've spent so much time postering up there, and
do you know what I think the ticket is for it? I think we need a big headliner. I think that's the future.
Yeah.
I think if you get a big headliner who's undeniable, then you'll get everyone coming, especially students. I think that's going to be the ticket. That's going to be our next project. Basically, we're trying to grow. What we're doing is get bigger and bigger. So sky's the limit. We're putting our business caps on. We'll try not to forget our roots, our grassroots. We're going to try and take over the world slowly.
Yeah.
Great. About the work itself, how you get people to play at the Gregson, how do you organise yourself? So it's obviously the three of you. Rach didn't join, but she's part of the crew, the Baccy J and Folio. So how do you guys organise the work between you?
Organise is the wrong word.
Alright, no organisation then.
We are all very dysfunctional. Rach is the most organised out of us all. Like, she took... So, like, Rach joined us later on, and she took what was mine and Jack's. We were doing well, we were doing okay.
It's very much a passion project.
Yeah, she took what was a passion project and a very intense hobby and kind of turned it into a business. Like, if
formalised it.
Yeah, she very much formalised it. She's the reason why, realistically, why we've been able to get to where we are now, especially with the music with the mayor.
I think all three of us cover each other's weaknesses.
Yeah.
I'm very much happy-go-lucky, music first. Faye's very business-minded and Rach is very organised. I think, no?
I think Rachel's definitely more business-minded than I just...
Faye gets stuff done.
Yeah.
Faye is the doer. Faye makes stuff work and actually gets out and Faye is the grafter.
Yeah.
That's what Faye does. Faye's a grafter. I'm some little hippie kid in his room coming up with grandiose delusions of of success. And then Faye executes them.
Yeah.
It's what?
We once carried a canoe all the way to the Gregson from Primrose, from the top of Primrose, all the way down to the Gregson. As a prop.
And then 20 people showed up. 20 people showed up to see this canoe. It took us about 3 hours worth.
To clean it and wash it in the freezing cold. It was back when it was like snowing and freezing cold, like in the -5 in the dark as well.
I'm still glad we did it.
Me too. That was
when did she join and how? Rach, when did she join you, and why did she join you? Basically, how did you met her?
I think...
How did that happen?
I think Rach first joined us around June. I think I used to go to college with Rach. Me and Rach went to the same school together, and then we went to college together, and then we didn't see each other.
I went to this college too, but I was a year later. So I miss Faye.
Yeah. So, and then we met each other again at a Queer by Gum event, and then I told her what I was doing because I was doing the tech for that night. Funnily enough, I actually jumped on the stage that night and dislocated my knee in front of everybody. That was fun.
No context there needed.
Yeah. And then saw her that night, and I told her what we were doing, and then she wanted to get involved, and that must have been about the May, and I think she kind of started joining us on stuff in June, and she's just been an absolutely amazing member of the team since.
Loon Day Fest 2026.
Honestly, Loon Day Fest 2026. Let's go.
That was very much Rachel's contribution.
That was like, Rachel's baby.
Loon Day Fest wouldn't have been possible without Rachel.
Yeah, it would have just been us two little hippie brains
in a big
hall.
In a big empty town.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Rachel, we wouldn't have had the sponsorships. We wouldn't have had like a festival. If it was me and Jack, it would have just been like a big gig, almost. Whether Rach, she turned it into a real life festival. Like,
thank you,
Rach. But yeah.
Well done, Rach. What do you find the most challenging in this work that you're doing? Like, is it negotiating with?
It's gambling. That's what it is. You ring up a band or an agent, and you ring up a venue, and you say, "Hi guys, I think we can sell this many tickets at this price, and it's going to make all of us money." And then if it doesn't on the day because someone put something better on down the road, or there's a marathon on, or there's a storm, then you have to pay the bill.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's gambling, and it's for stress. It's a stress that you have to have confidence in your own taste and confidence in your execution and organisation, and this is going to work out well for everyone. If it doesn't, it's your fault.
Are you economically sustainable? You were saying we have to pay the bill if it doesn't work out because of whatever. So has that ever happened? And
oh yeah, of course. We've had, I think, 3 or 4.
And 3 flops.
We've had 3 flops where we've had to foot the bill,
but we've had more successes.
Yeah. So and it happens. That's just the music game.
Balance, yeah.
Yeah, it's just the music business, and you just got to pick yourself back up and go, right, I've got to learn from this. What was going on at that time? Was it who we had on? Was it because there was other things going on? And you just got to learn from it, and not let it bring you down. Like the time, like there was one time where we had a really lovely acoustic night.
Great music. No one showed up.
No one showed up, but the music was beautiful, and it was just me and Jack stood at the bar, near enough crying in each other's arms.
The other way to think about it is if it flops, it's just a really expensive night out. It's a good way of doing it, Like,
can never end up too badly then.
You know what? It was actually.
Like I say, that's the next challenge: is how can we make it economically viable for us? I think this does scale up. People remember this is £1 billion industry. It's like 4th or 5th after video games and films. Right? There's people eating too big of a slice of pie, and it's you got to understand how it works. So I'm going to try and see if we can tip that scale in people's favour. I say people, mine and yours. Eventually, they say power corrupts absolutely. What happens to us when we get big paychecks? Do we sell out? I always tell people I'd sell out in a heartbeat, give them a chance. Like I do. I don't think that's true.
No, I think we are very much.
I think we care about the Gregson. We've had too much help from all the bands and all the people who helped us get here, but we want to give something back. And that it's just still so far in the conversation. That's the next challenge: is figure out how to make this in the favour of the people who actually put the hours in and write the music.
That's interesting. Where do you see yourself in this world, in the music industry? How big are you, basically? It's a broad question, but I'd like for you to reflect on that.
I'd be the CEO of the Gregson. No,
coming for you, Charles. No, I think we would love to be able to do this nationally. I mean, hopefully one day maybe do some stuff overseas. But that's like the big dream. I think if
there's festivals who they just pay you a wage to do this. It's great. You don't even have to do it case by case. I mean, I'd be happy being a music teacher if I was just a bit better at guitar.
Yeah, I think also, another thing we've spoken about is having our own place to do it. Like open up our own venue would be amazing.
Cover our own costs.
Cover our own costs.
We don't have to load the car in and out every time. Great.
Yeah, we need a van. But yeah, just we don't want to go too big and be like, oh yeah, we're going to take over the world without.
I don't think it's unachievable to think to be a regional powerhouse. I've said this music industry. Once you poke your head in, you realise everyone knows each other. It's not that big a world, ultimately. And I think if you work hard, that will pay off.
Would you prefer doing this on your own? If it was to become bigger, would you like to keep the same team and do it at a larger scale, or would you rather teach other people how to do it and then include them in your organisation? Would you like to do some mentoring basically, or would you prefer still like doing the technical stuff and carry on?
I do love
growing?
Just doing the tech. It would be lovely to just do the tech, you know.
Yeah, I
just
think
take all this stress off. Just do the tech. That would be lovely.
Yeah,
man.
no, it would be nice to kind of just pass things over and be like, right, you guys can do the admin stuff. Just let us do the tech.
But I
also,
think that's not realistic. You know, we gotta we're not so big that we're saying no to people. Anyone who wants to help is welcome. You know.
Yeah, we've already started kind of mentoring people a little bit. Like we've had our mates come down and other people come down as well, who want to learn how to use a desk, who want to learn how to set up a gig.
You know, we're very cheap as well. As part of saying, you can hire us if you're a charity event. If you're putting on something for the first time, you know, we're like. we're about as accessible as you can get.
Hello, Radio Gregson. How can I help you?
If those people want to reach out to you, how can they?
So you can email us at Baccy J and Folio Productions @gmail.com.
That's Baccy J with an N. N.
Baccy N.
Productions.
Yeah. Or on Instagram. Same name as well. Baccy J, Baccy spelled Baccy. Yeah, so they're the best ways. If not, can't remember those names, then just come to the Gregson, speak to one of the staff members here, who will quite happily pass on our details, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll help you put something on, man. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Have a party. Bring your friends. Stay inclusive. Dream big.
You heard the man. All right. Any band you wish to help become big?
There's so many. That's a hard question. There's
the paradox,
so many.
We'd love to help them, but I think there's many bands they don't. When you say help, they don't need us, man. A lot of these guys are doing the right thing already, and they're gonna go very far. I wanna shout out Morton, Betts, and Rice and Kiwi. Those guys, they're gonna be big, and it's just a matter of time, I think. I'm in a band called Hummus. We're gonna be even bigger than any of those guys. You know, we're gonna take it all the way to the moon. Like, I don't know who else. Faye.
I'd love to see Viola Faye and my band Varicose Veins get big. That would be amazing. I'd
love to see the lesbian Marxist dystopian pantomime. I'd love to see that on the national circuit. That'd be fantastic.
That would be amazing. But yeah, there's just so many to choose from. Like, there's just so many bands like XOX
dead, of so much energy.
Yeah,
I love those guys. Vito, we love you. Imagine a crazy, angry
Brazilian man,
muscular Brazilian man screaming into the microphone.
Yeah.
Like, while heavy metal guitars blister away. Honestly, XOX, we love you. They're gonna go far.
But then there's also like Persimmon, who are just an absolutely beautiful neo soul, jazz, fusion, R&B band.
Very accessible jazz. That's what I love about it. You could see him next, just on Radio 6. It could be on Radio 6 tomorrow, those guys.
Yeah, 100%. But like we don't want to miss any. Like, we've probably missed so many people out. Like, because it's such a big question to ask. But there's so many amazing bands in Lancaster and Morecambe who who deserve to be big, who deserve to make it, and to get somewhere in life. And yeah,
you mentioned the radio. Oh, sorry.
Good
go
boy,
ahead.
Nico,
Good boy,
man.
Nico.
Can't go well. It's our boys, good boy, Nico. They're gonna go very far.
You mentioned the radio. That could be an avenue for you to grow bigger. Is that something you thought about and you'd like to investigate?
We have actually done a little bit at Bailrig.
Bailrig FM, student radio at Lancaster University.
Yeah, so we went up there to do a interview for our Loon Day Festival. And then with that, obviously we're doing a shout out for all the bands. And Erin, who we did the interview with, she wanted us to send bands, send some tracks up. But then we also discussed about doing a bit of live lounge stuff, and for us to kind of help get bands up there for that.
This whole media thing, it's like a symbiosis, you know. If we can put live events on, then we can get some of those bands on the radio, and if they can get those bands gigs elsewhere, or get some recordings done, get those on Spotify and streaming platforms, you know, it's all one and the same, man. It's the same economy. We've all got to help each other, really.
What about organising gigs at different places? We've quickly mentioned it. Is that something you'd like to do soon?
Yeah, we're already organising gigs in quite a few different places. Like we've got one at the Story coming up.
You had one, yeah.
Well, we've got eyes on Cantina.
Yeah,
if Pablo's listening, we're trying to scale up, and I think that's one of Lancaster's only mid to large size venues. If you think you can get 700 people in there, you know, you can get the kind of bands you could book for that place would be fantastic. And I think it's amazing that we've got such a valuable resource just down the road. Yeah,
but also we also want to venture out of Lancaster as well. It's like everybody wants to do Manchester, so we're thinking, you know, maybe head up north, go like Lake District, Kendal Way, Blackpool, go around that way. And
we're basically saying we're too scared to try Manchester. That's what we're saying here, Faye.
Well, it's not just that. It's also there's such huge promoters there already. There's a huge music scene there, and we've been having some mentorships with the ex tour manager.
Kim Hawes. We've been. You can buy a book. Is it Lace and Leather? I think you can buy. It's Kim Hawes, a fantastic mentor and coach. Thank you, Kim, for all your advice up to now. But yeah, Kim let us know that Blackpool is a wealth, and all these sort of satellite towns are always a perfect sort of middle ground where you can try and learn your craft before trying to break stuff like Manchester and Liverpool.
Great. Let's wrap this up, shall we? Any organisation, anyone you'd like to put in the spotlight before we end this?
Well, the Gregson, obviously. Yes, definitely. Like, we've got to have a huge thanks to Queer by Gum. Like, we would definitely not be where we are today without those guys.
I'll say huge thanks to More Music. If you have any interest in music whatsoever, get yourself to stages, get yourself to a Seagull Cafe, yourself to Bay Beat. You know, there's so much good stuff on. That's More Music in Morecambe. Like, there's some of the best and greatest minds in the world working there.
Also, I want to say thank you to... It's not an organisation, but I want to say thank you to Abby Mills and Caroline Roberts. Abby Mills, who's the mayor of Lancaster, who helped us do music, be part of Music with the Mayor and put on the festival. And the same with Caroline, who's from Citizens Advice Bureau, who's just been an amazing support for us throughout this journey with putting on the festival and doing other Music with the Mayor stuff. Like, you don't realise in this industry that you need support, you need people to help you. And you find them in weird little places.
So be kind, man. Be kind in everything you do.
Yeah. Also, we need each other.
Yeah,
we all need each other.
You say something about working in a team without Faye. Never. Never. I need you, bro.
I need you too, man.
Cheers. That was great. That was a pleasure to have you too. Thank you, Jack and Faye.
Thank you, Yanis.
And we can... avec plaisir. We can just pop downstairs for a drink at the Gregson. What do you think?
Let's do it. Moorgate, 33-35 Moorgate. Be there, be square.
Cheers. Thank you.
Big up Radio Gregson.
Big thank you to Ree, Hannah and Monet. We love you all.
Thank you so much, guys. Like, you've been really some great support system for us. Like,
It's
we really
instrumental. We love you.
Yeah. Oh, and Ross.
Ross,
my little brother Ross.
That was quite a chat, wasn't it? We'll now get to hear Ode to Lancaster, a poem written and recited by Bridget. After having travelled across the UK for her studies in biology, Bridget settled in Lancaster, where she attends acting and writing classes at the Gregson, volunteers with Litfest, the Lancaster Literature Festival, and has run activities at public science events in Lancaster and beyond. She also enjoys creative writing, and here is her latest poem.
Ode to Lancaster. Lancaster, I thank you for returning my creative streak. A few years of Litfests, Wordariums and La Peace acting classes, storytelling, folklorists galore, not to mention scenery, the lakes to be explored. It is somewhat a mystery that I'm writing once again. Perhaps it's down to therapy, or maybe that new pen. Yet it's surely no coincidence that following one event, a poem channeled through my mind that night at 3 a.m. Would that be all, I wondered, feeling safer to downplay. Marvellously no, not so. This is my second poem today. Before then it had been so long, my inspiration dried. So Lancaster, I thank you. Yes, it took some time to get to know you, feel at home. 'Twas very hard at first. But 3 years later, here I am, pouring out this verse.
Do you feel the same way about Lancaster? I always like hearing positive things about where I live. Before we bring the episode to a close, we have our regular feature, What's On at the Gregson. The Gregson is home to over 70 regular groups and a range of community events and celebrations. There's so much going on over the next month, but here's just a few of the great events coming up. Expert Hour. That's on the 29th of May. Conservator Claire Dean will take you through what's involved in preserving all kinds of heritage materials and give you some tips on how to care for your own treasures at home. On the 3rd of June, there's going to be the book launch of the recently published How to Save the Amazon. You may have heard the tragic story of Dom Phillips and Bruno Pereira, who were fatally shot whilst working to fight ecological destruction in the Amazon rainforest. Dom had been writing a book at the time, and a group of expert writers have now worked together to complete the book as a tribute to their colleague and to give a message of hope that it's not too late to save the globally essential ecosystem that is the Amazon. Finally, on the 13th of June, Chapped returns for Volume 5 of Lancaster's biggest and best drag cabaret. Be ready for camp and chaos. There's so much more on, so for the full list of events, please visit the Gregson website. You've been listening to Radio Gregson, a podcast by the community for the community. If you enjoy this episode, tune in next month when we'll hear more inspiring stories and community voices. We'd love to hear from you. If you have an idea for an episode or want to be part of Radio Gregson, drop us an email at radio@gregson.co.uk. This is your podcast after all. I'm Yanis, and this is Radio Gregson.